In this 30 minutes Watson AI Ops demo, we will focus on the value propositions, architecture, and process use case demo. The value propositions. There are key operational challenges from the distributed IT for the enterprise. The complexities brought from the modern architecture based on the microservice network, and also the complexity of the hybrid cloud. For example, traditionally, the application is either monolithic, maybe 20 or 30 years ago, for example, the mainframe, or the typical three-tier architecture. The application is hosted in the same place, managed by the same team, and with the different components. However, in today's architecture of the microservice, the service could be hosted in the many different places. In the hybrid cloud environment, it could host in the totally different service provider and the cloud provider, for example, AWS, Azure, Google, IBM, and some of the service hosted by the on-prem. These really bring the challenges to manage the system, manage the application, and monitoring the application. So from the IBM's point of view, there are four big challenges here. And the first is innovation versus stability. The incidents, which means the tickets created to resolve the certain problems, the thousands of the IT incidents per month for the large enterprise. And the statistics tell us that each of the incidents could cost 139K on average. And the impact, the like a regular penalties, service level agreement penalties, and reduced the customer satisfactions. And this is the major challenge in like how to resolve the instance quickly. So what is the wish list? And I put the wish list on the bottom. Say, ideally, if we can have resolve the instance with automation so that we can quickly and accurately resolve the problem. And the second challenge is negotiating the complexity and scale. And this is about alerts. There are so many alerts coming every day from the different systems. Many of the alerts are replicated, and some of the alerts maybe doesn't like have the serious impact to the systems. However, less than 1% of the alerts are critical, but cost up to the 420K per hour in the downtime if not detected. So this really we need to have a solution to generate the right incidents based on these alerts. We need to figure out those alerts doesn't have the critical impacts to the system, but we need to precisely address the alerts with the serious impact to the system. The third challenge is overwhelmed by the disparate tools. Because of the hybrid cloud and the enterprise transformation to the digital and the microservice architecture is overwhelmingly come everywhere in the SaaS application model. The enterprise adopted the exponentially increased amount of the applications from the market, and all these applications generate the matrix alerts, events, trace, and all this information. Many of them is duplicate, and many of them maybe have some conflicts. Ideally, we need to have an application to consolidate all these technical informations, the logging information, events, matrix, and the trace, and generate the topology to stitch the microservice together in the context of the application. So this is also a big challenge. And the fourth challenge is burnout and skills. And with the microservice applications, the service component could be hosted in many different places. To maintain the application by our employee, the employee needed to the very variety of the skills. For example, AWS, Azure, Google, IBM, mainframe. So this, whatever this application composed by, and the employee must understand, the subject matter expert must understand that to resolve the problem. So that is almost mission impossible. And also, in today's statistics tell us that only 10% of the employee have 90% of this critical enterprise. So this is a big challenge. So ideally, we wish to have our application can generate the holistic story and or even generate the runbook, which is the guidance to how to resolve the problem automatically. So that is the overall challenge and the wish list of the today's enterprise IT. And these slides is continue from the previous slides and tell us what exactly the AI ops can bring to the transformation from the IT ops challenge to the IT ops advantages. In the left column, there are 3 items of the challenges. In the middle, that is AI ops can bring the solutions to the transformation, and the right side, the solution has been resolved. We have the solutions to resolve these problems. So the first challenge is lack of the observability due to the siloed teams, tools, and the process. As we mentioned from the previous slides, there are so many applications, and all the applications are siloed. They have their own metrics, events, logs, and trace. And all this information together, a lot of duplication, a big mess. But we really want the insights. So here, the AIOps event manager will remove the silos. And in the end, it will consolidate all this information together and ideally, generate the stories which make sense to the business. The second challenge is massive amount of the data of the metrics, alert, events, log, trace, and all this data. How this data makes sense to the business? That is go through the AI, based on the historic data to training the AI model, and the real-time data coming from the system can make sense to the system. And in the end, it will transform to the solutions, runbooks, and automations. The third challenge is the microservice, the distribution of the microservice. How can we get the insights of the application as a holistic system? Then we need to focus on the applications other than focus on the full stack, the hardware, software, from the tier by tier, from the bare metal hardware to the virtual machine and to the container and to the application. So topology manager, that is the function area to help us to really stitch the microservice together to the application network make sense to the business. And when we diagnose the problem and resolve the problems. Now we come to the third page of the value proposition. I would like to introduce the 3 key products in the IBM's AI Ops portfolio and briefly introduce their value propositions in the context of the AI Ops. 3 products include the Instana, Turbonomic, and Watson AI Ops. We have delivered the two demos. One is for Instana and one is for Turbonomics. Instana is really the value proposition is understand and detect. It's observe. And it's including automation. It can automatically connect to the different systems and the context to understand the context from of the application horizontally and vertically in the both dimensions, and also to understand the insights of the problems. And to analog the Instana with the of the automation of the AI of the IT operation to the self-drive car, I define it as the level 1 to level 3. It is automatic, have the automation, but still the subject matter of the expert who using the Instana to monitoring or resolve the problems still need a certain level of the in-depth of the technical skills to understand the system and to resolve the problem. It's just like a self-drive car system level 1 to level 3 automation. And we want to extend it to the next level, to the further, for the additional features. For example, we want to transform all the technical data, MERT data, to the stories. Makes sense to business. Makes sense to the business resource who does not have the technology background. For example, the management, the junior engineers who is just joined the job. And this is depending on AI. AI is going to be intake these kind of technology data and then transform. And also, we want to generate the suggestions for the solution, the next best actions. And also, we want to facilitate the collaborations based on the chatbot. And so that the collaborations between the team and between the subject matter experts to get the product done, get the job done. And we would like to analyze the root cause. So this is really move the automation to the next level. And compared to the self-drive vehicle, it is kind of level 4 and level 5 automation. It's really IBM's vision for the automations for the future enterprise. And the Turbonomic is the automation of the decisions on the resource management and resource allocation for the certain performance requirements. And also the actions generated by the Turbonomic can inject to the Watson AI Ops as the data resource and a reconciler for the insights for the business. Now we understand the value proposition. The value proposition is really transformed from the technical data and to the stories, which is the story can make sense to business and even generate to the solutions on these stories step by step. And furthermore, we want to automate these runbox, the solutions, and based on the ANSYS scripts, and then so that ideally the subject matter experts just need to understand the problem, review the problem, and collaborate with the teammates or the colleagues. And then in the end, when they resolve the problem by click certain buttons and automatically resolve the problem. So that is the final goal for this AI Ops automation journey. The architecture. This is the architecture of the demo. There are 4 pillars, like 4 columns. In the left side is the application. For example, the e-commerce application, which is composed by many microservices. could be the database, it could be the orchestration, it could be web database, or in to handle the certain business subject, the shopping, the shopping card, tax, shipping, and all the rating service. So all these service it could host in a different place. And then in the second pillar is a collection of the tools to handle the data. It could be the many different options, for example, logs based on using the Humor, using the Splunk, and the events matrix and the topology. They all can use, for example, Instana can do the job if you stick with the IBM. But if you have your own product, a new Relax, App Dynamics, it's without any difference. And the last one is the incidents. The incidents, which means the historic instance, because we would like to get the reference to how to resolve the problem. So we connect to the ServiceNow and pull the historic instance, which have the similar issues. And what's an AI Ops will understand what kind of the information is going to be pulled from the ServiceNow, and then to as a reference to the reference solution of the certain story. But the technical data to transform to the story, and the stories make sense to the business. And there are three results can be generated from the story. The first one is the dashboards. You can using the dashboards to understand the story and get in depth to understand the alerts, the events, the matrix behind the story. And also you can understand you can collaborate with the team members or other colleagues using the chat ops and by publish the story, which is the incident, and to the chat ops, so that the team can work together on this issue. And also the story can be have the proposed solutions based on the historic incident tickets, and then these solutions can be automated by the Ansible scripts, and so that a few buttons click can resolve the problem. So in conclusion, we get the technical data, MERT, and plus the historic incidents, and then to generate the story. And the story, based on the story, we can develop the run box based on the historic solution and the existing data. And this run box can be automated to resolve the problem. So this is really the ultimate destination of the automation, which is comparable with the self-drive vehicle of the level 5 automation. Now we understand the overview of the AI Ops. These slides tell us from the integration and the deployment perspective how AI Ops can leverage with your enterprise as is architecture. If we read this architecture, is almost same as the previous slides. We have application, we have the collection of the tools, and we have the AI Ops. The difference is this diagram including the details of the AI Ops. Right now, the AI Ops have the two major components. One is the AI Manager, one is Event Manager. AI Manager is really the brain of the Watson AI Ops. Based on the data collected, they can generate the stories. Based on the MERT data and topology, generate the stories and collaborate, get the runbook, get everything done. So this is the AI manager's value proposition. That's really the brand of the Watson AI Ops. So what is the event manager? Event manager is a data collector. Actually, that is based on our IBM product existing for decades. Which is called Network Operation Insights, NOI. And the two value proposition is one is integration. They integrated the different systems. It's called an omnibus, and it collect the events to the like the event hub. And the second value proposition is consolidate, because the events, um, many of the events doesn't have much business value because, for example, you get the people access your system and log out the system, those events. What events manager is identify the actionable events, which is events is critical for the business, and inject those events to the AI manager. So these two have the separate value propositions. One is the brain, is the AI manager, and one is the event manager, is the data collection hub, and also clean the data and consolidate data and the filter the data. But IBM have a special design of these two products to bring the convenience to the existing and the future customer. In that, event manager also including the functionality of the AI managers. For example, you can just deploy the event manager and then to create the story and chat ops and the run ops similar as the AI ops, at least for your proof of concept MVP and pilot phase. You do not need to have the AI manager. So this is particularly for the IBM customer for the NetCool operation insights. All they need to do, they want to upgrade the NetCool insights and upgrade to the event manager with the new edition. That is a native upgrade. And then understand the vision of the IBM for transform the NetCool operation insights to the value of the AI ops. And to start, they do not need to the AI manager to start, and then to create the use case, to create the automation, create the pilots. And in the future, because AI manager really the value proposition is besides the function of the AI, is the capability of the calculation of the computing, because AI need a large amount of the resource to calculate. So that's why the AI manager and the event manager eventually will work together. So this is for the customers using the NetCool operation insights or using the IBM event manager. And there are different use cases with the customers does not use the NetCool operation insights, and maybe they already have their own solutions, for example, SolarWinds or Microsoft Cisco solutions on the Event Hub. Then those customers just directly purchase the AI Ops AI Manager. And IBM's value proposition become very clear is just focusing on transform your technical data to the business value, to the story, to the chat ops, to the run box. So this is the very special design for the convenience for the enterprise customer with the different situations. Now, let's start the demonstration. The demo use case is the Stan's Robot Shop. It is an e-commerce website and maybe have some problems. And most IBM's demonstration using the same use case. Actually, Instana demo using the exactly the same use case. And now the Watson AI Ops demo. So the value proposition of the Watson AI Ops bring is generate the story and take advantage of the chat ops for the collaborations and create the run box for the solutions. There are two different use like personas can take advantage. If the persona as a SRE, site reliability engineer, they would like to resolve an incident with AI. So the demo we're focused on as a SRE, he or she does not need in-depth technology, just by understanding the results. For example, the stories generated by the what's an AI Ops, and collaborate with team members using the chat ops, and also follow the Runbox suggestions to resolve problems. The second persona is administrator. An administrator is really support the user, like site reliability engineers. For example, they are connect to the data source, they define and manage application based on the topology management. And they will help to train the data for the AI models and configure the schedule and the configurations of how the AI model being trained. So let's take a look of this, how these things working. And also I would like to say, IBM have a very good product demo simulations here, and which is publicly accessible. And I'm going to put the link of the website to the comments of this presentation so that anybody can redo the demo by themselves. So welcome to the Cloud Pack for AI Ops. And if you click next, and then they will ask you to select what kind of the persona you want. You can be the administrator or Carlos. We will focus on the user. As a site reliability engineer, we want to resolve an incident. But we will flick back and to have a quick introduction of the what administrator can help. And these two personas here. And if we select persona like site reliability engineer can have 4 different use case can use. And we follow the most common one is resolve an incident with AI. There is a problem on the website, and then we want to investigate them like out of memory error problems. And if we click this, and first it started from the Slack, because as an employee, everybody have a Slack, and we connect to the channel for the operations. And then we receive a message from this channel say, hey, there is an incident created. You can see has a ServiceNow incident, and also have the title and the testing failed against the robot shop application. And also it kept the status is assigned a priority, have the owner, and everything information. And if we can show more information and also included the Slack, have the proper cause. As you can see, as a SIE, I really do not need to look into get in depth of the technical details of the logs or the trace, the metrics anymore. I just focusing on the human understandable descriptions to handle this ticket, problem cause, and also they give you the probabilities and ranked with the ranking and what is the proper reasons. And if you see next, and also there are 20 alerts here associated with this story. Just in case I'm interested, I can take a look of what are the alerts are. But this ideally the story itself should be sufficient for handle this ticket. If the AI model and the AI process is set up correctly. And then they have the solution from the past resolution tickets. Because when we create the incidents to the ServiceNow, and the service and the AI Ops is going to pull up the historic tickets with the similar issues, and then they put these as the reference and roll back it looks like they install some firmware improperly. You need to roll back. So these are the solutions suggested. Then, okay, as a site reliability engineers, I'm going to log into the what's an AI Ops and to take a look of the dashboard. And then the dashboard actually including the similar information as a Slack with more details. And then we can see the story overview. And then we can see the run box how to resolve the problems. And after we understand the problem and understand the details of the problem, we can run the run box and to fix the problem. And after fix the problem, and we provide the feedback. The run box worked. So this is a overview of the process of the site reliability engineers, how to take advantage of the what's an AI ops without the in-depth technology knowledge at all, and we can resolve the problem. And based on the historic data and based on the story to handle this. So on the other side, how to set up these? Set up this is by the administrator. Administrator need to be more technical because they want to set up their infrastructures for the specific applications. There are three use cases to set up. Set up the connection, the data source. For example, you need to collect data from the Humio as the log, Instana as the MERT data, and also the ServiceNow for the historic data, right? And also, we need to create our application topology based on the information. In this case, we can pull the information from the Instana. And also, this is very important. We need to train the AI model based on the historic data. And also, we need to set up the AI training schedule so that we make sure the data is continuously trained and enhanced. And maybe we take a look of the AI model side, the AI model management, and set up the training. And we can review the algorithm. We can select whatever proper algorithms to train the historic data. And then when we click, we can set up the schedule of the model training because this is really a continuous process. If we have more experience, the AI ops systems have the more experience on these and create a more instance, and then the system will understand better of the how to resolve the problem. And after we set up everything, we review, and we get this model trained. So this is conclude the training, conclude of the demonstration of the what's an AIOP and AI ops as two personas, as the SRE, which is the user, and the user experience, and how the SRE resolve the problem quickly, automatically, but without much in-depth technology background. And we also demonstrated the administrator and how administrator take advantage of the what's an AI ops to resolve the problems of the setup. For example, connect to the data source, define the application context using the topology management, and train the data for the AI models. So this is conclude the demonstration part. Let's go back to the conclusion. So in conclusion, in this demo, we showed two different persona as the SRE, how to resolve the incident. The process is step by step. The first step is based on the technology data, and we can focus on the Slack and get the story. And then to get the solution of the story, which is the run box, and we run the run box. So as a user, it's very easy. But as an administrator, we need to focus on what kind of the end systems need to connect the data source, and focus on how to stitch the microservice together to define our application. And third, we need to train the data. This is very important for the AI models. If you are interested in AI ops, and I'm more than happy to facilitate the further discussions. The potential steps for the further discussion is we can facilitate the proof of value or the MVP development with your environment, your use case, and your data. And we have the deeper dive, the what's an AI Ops. We can review the deployment options, deploy on the OpenShift, deploy on the different clouds, event manager deployment, AI manager deployment, and adoption strategy of the event manager or an AI manager for your enterprise. And a system setup and configuration, and also the use case and the setup of the what's an AI Ops in the overall AI Ops and the ITR, ITSM ecosystem integration with ServiceNow, Instana, Turbonomic, Server One, and to resolve more use case. This concludes the demonstration of the what's an AI Ops. Thank you.